Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge Aftershow. Today, Jenna, Pamela, and I are talking about the Challenge USA Season 2, Episode 11, Slippery Business, Double Entendre. What? Yay!
I get it now. I got it.
But literally, the title of the challenge of the day was Slippery Business. And they're like, you know what? We're going to make the title of the whole episode because it's Double Entendre Thursday. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
The first thing I wrote down, which is I thought was pretty funny, and I looked back later and was like, oh my God, I wrote Cassidy Tyler on the block. That's what I wrote, like, when I just started watching the stuff. I didn't mean for it to, like, actually be true. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. And that came true.
Well, something got me in the beginning that we always talk about is, like, you know, the dreaded minute or two of a profile on someone. And this week it was Corey. So
yes.
The dreaded FaceTime call. And I was like, oh no, we're seeing Corey's wife and kid. Like, this can't be a good thing. So it kind of worked this time around, where that was a bit of a red herring. And it actually was like his little heroes episode. So for a minute, I mean, he wins, but doesn't do too much else. But for what we've seen of Corey this season, it was more of a glowing episode for him versus like, oh, this is Corey's time to go home because we're seeing so much of him.
Yep. 11 episodes in, and we got a Corey-centric episode. It took 11 episodes for him to be featured and prominent. By the way,
like, not even. He's really not even that prominent.
Well, he got to do the whole talk. He got to have a little argument with Michaela. Corey's just like, honestly, with single Corey when he was sloppy and he was hooking up with girls. That was like his prime on the show. He's just not that guy anymore. He's married. He's got 2 little girls running around, whatever it is, you know. So he's just not. He's just not the guy on the show anymore. Like, he doesn't really bring the entertainment value as far as his, like, I'm going to outwit you in a conversation one-on-one at a table during nominations. Like, he's just not going to do much for me there.
Yeah, the producers aren't showing much of him. And I also don't know if this is the editing. He does say it's getting closer to the final, he wants to put together this team. But I thought it was like, oh, welcome to the show, Corey. Like,
yeah, I think 7. You know, those conversations could have happened 3 or 4 episodes ago. They just decided to put it in here because he actually did something where he won a daily challenge. Like, well, let's just make it about him then and use all this footage that we have of him trying to build relationships with other people that aren't vets. Like, that could have been done earlier.
I thought it was just such a funny, stupid throwaway thing that, like, now all of a sudden you want to play the game, Corey. He's like, I got to put together this group of girls. Like, I got to put together my dream team for this final. And it's like, well, welcome to the show. It's episode
I'm not going to lie to you. I think after next week elimination, I think they're going into the finals. I think it's going to be, they're going to get down to 5 and 5. Somehow it's going to finagle. Yeah, that's right. Somehow it's going to finagle. Yeah, Macarena. Somehow it's going to finagle down to a girl elimination next week, and then you'll have 5 guys and 5 girls going into a final the following week, because they've got to wrap this up. I don't think they're going to have CBS and MTV show running at this overlapping. I just think they're going to have a perfect cut into that October release of 39. I do
agree. I don't think they're going to do that, but I have to say I was super fooled, especially when it came down to Fessy and Corey in this kind of match. I was like, well, Corey is going to lose, you know? So I was go Corey, but agreed with everything both of you said, that Corey, like, messy womanizing, get you pregnant if he looks at you, Corey, is what we want. Like, nice, you know, like, I'm here to compete. Corey is like, and then just back to overalls. My standout this season is Cassidy, who I think has, like, made the best impression and been the most kind of fun contribution. And dare I say maybe Chris, even though he's been
anytime you're that featured in like 4 eliminations, you're going to make an impact on the show no matter what. Yeah.
It's hard not to root for you when you are like the standout underdogs. Like, it's at the point of the season, like we said, we know what's going to happen from here on out. We know it's Cassidy falling on the sword. We know it's Chris and Tyler, and then probably Michelle's the next person up. Like, it's only a matter of time. Those are the only names in the pot. So you want to root for them because the other people are kind of like sitting pretty for the most part.
And that's what kind of sucks. I am rooting so hard for Cassidy and Chris to win the daily challenge next week and make some of these heavy hitters heavy hitters. We haven't seen him do anything. Josh is a heavy hitter. He just hasn't had to go in or do anything, but have them have to go like Josh versus Fessy. Go ahead. You guys do an elimination together. Like, I would love to see something like that. So I'm really going to be rooting for Cassie and Chris to win that challenge next week and force the hand of the rest of this house and have them have to make some moves against each other. Hell, I even wanted it to be Tori versus Cassidy in the elimination tonight. I was fine with that. Hell yeah, I want to see one of them sweat a little bit. I'm ready for it.
I didn't want Tori and Cassidy. So also Michaela is my standout for the season. Love her.
Have Michelle go down there. Screw Michelle. She sucks.
She's gone down in the past. She's okay. Again, if it was going to be anyone versus Cassidy, I would have liked Michelle, just because they're size-wise like better matched. But I thought if Tori was the vote, like if Corey had let Michaela put Tori in as the vote, then it would have been a good Tori versus Desi, a Tori versus someone strong would have been a good. Like,
I get they had to be strong to lift up those barrels, but like, I don't know. I think there's a chance that maybe Cassidy could have beat Tori. I know Tori's a lot stronger though, so I would have put my money on Tori, but it's not like this was like a one-on-one fighting match where they had to use ultimate strength. It was some strategy in there too. I don't know, some endurance. I don't know. I think
a lot of endurance. I was like, oof, that would be so tiresome.
No, you're right, Dan. Actually, in hindsight, I hadn't even thought about if it was Cassidy and Tori because it ended up just being a guy's day anyway. So I kind of just let that thought leave my brain. But originally, I agree with you, Pam. I was like, oh, I don't want to see a Cassidy Tori. Like,
me neither.
Also, if your game plan is to get Tori out of the house, it's not going to work this way, you know?
Right.
I get if you throw her in, if it's your power move, if you're in the power team like Michaela was trying to do, that is one idea. And then like Desi and Chanel were saying, out of fear, they know that they're the most vulnerable because they're probably the most evenly matched to Tori that are in the house other than Michaela, who had safety. But if your goal is to get Tori out and then you make Cassidy the main vote and then you vote for Tori, I'm like, I don't think that's really going to work out for you. And I didn't want to see Cassidy go because her name just gets thrown in the pot every time. It would be nice for her to prevail from that. No, but you're right though, Dan, because this is the sort of elimination where it is just equalized by nature. You know, it's not really, it's not a hall brawl. It's not, you know, like brute versus brute.
A pole wrestle would be rough for Cassidy.
Yeah. So this is one that maybe could have, you're right.
It could have. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Then the other girls are right who wanted to put Tori in. So shit, what do I know?
No, I agree that anyone, if it were Cassidy versus Tori, anybody could have, it could have been anybody's game with this, but it would have been just like a kind of a lame, that's like, I don't know.
We talk all the time how eliminations are super sketchy and anybody can win on any given day. Like, this is like, I think one that either person could win. I mean, you saw the guys go up against each other. Chris, if you had to put Chris next to Tyler, you'd say Chris is stronger than Tyler. He barely beat Tyler in this thing because it takes endurance too. And I don't know. I'm just not, but you see records of Wes and Anissa and all these people that have been in 1 million eliminations and they're all around like 500. You're like, why is that? Oh, because eliminations are super sketchy. You don't know what you're getting when you get in there. It could be something you're just not good at that day or have some bad luck. Like the time CT ripped the carabiner off when he had to lose to Brad in that log pushing thing. And CT would have destroyed him any other way. But the rule was unhook the carabiner and Brad got the win. Like, CT won that. Let's be real. He just didn't follow the rules 100%. So there you go.
Just was a meathead about it.
Right.
Remember when it was 2 against CT on the pole wrestling one? It was just
a three-way pole wrestling.
Against CT, and that became fair.
And that was when he was in a super dad bod.
Yeah.
Moment, right? Yeah, because he was a grizzly bear, I remember.
And he still almost won. Like, technically, I think he did.
Yeah, he just looked like a massive man.
Yeah.
Speaking of dad bods, I am not to body shame because I'm not trying to body shame this guy, but I thought Fessy was more jacked up. I thought he was a bigger. I didn't realize he was kind of like I saw his back and I'm like, oh, it's not as defined as I thought it was. And
maybe it's lean muscle.
Oh, he's like football looking though. He's like chunk and muscle. Like,
yeah, I thought he was like, for some reason, I don't want to say I thought he was built like Corey, but I thought he was more muscular than he was. Like Corey's. Are these called traps? What are these things called here? These are traps here.
Oh my gosh, these traps are massive.
These things, whatever these like balls
Corey,
on his
right?
I've never seen someone that with like on the show that is that has that big of this definition here and here. We're insane. We're
Corey is
insane.
really built. And if you go back to the first season he was on Bloodlines, he's always been like an athlete, but he was thin and lean then. And you see him now.
Oh, he was hunking it. Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
has to be in the gym 6 hours a day. Like, how do you look like that? He like you're saying, Dan, his neck just like goes.
It was insane.
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I honestly
Tyler.
thought that Josh looked in better shape than Fessy. Is that weird to say?
Josh has been working out hard.
Yeah, I know he has.
Yeah.
It's paying off for him for sure. Yeah.
Bessie, you're not being like a body shamer by that. Like he did look, I did notice that too. I was like, he's not every other one of those guys, maybe not Bananas. I didn't get a good look at his bod, but
Tyler looked good. He's just very
Tyler was like
thinner. He was very
jacked, more
lean.
jacked because he's lean, but he
Yeah.
was like muscle, like 6 packs.
Yeah,
muscle.
Tyler, I was surprised.
Yeah, I
he
was
looked really
surprised at
confident.
how, because he seems smaller than.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to age shame a little bit, but it's just honestly the brutal reality is I feel like poor Bananas in this one. Like Bananas is still in great shape. He's still, you know,
Right.
athletic and strong, but it's just different. It's got to be so much more different for him. Like he's what in his 40s decade, right? Or is he
Yeah.
past 30?
Yeah, he's in his 40s now. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you're dealing with like, you know.
And what's Tyler, like 46? Like how old are those people?
Yeah, that's a good point. Tyler.
I mean, for Big Brother, you can be any age, you know, to come on those shows, you don't
Corey's
know.
gotta be in it. I mean, I have no idea. I have the worst age star, but
Right.
I mean,
yes,
back in the
it's
day
definitely-
when they cast The Real World originally, you had to be within a certain age range. It was like 18 to 24, I think. Like they didn't want anybody older, maybe 26 at the most, but like they
Yeah.
wanted you between the 18 and 24-ish range. Nowadays, when you come on to like Big Brother and Survivors and Bachelors, I mean, there's not really an age range per se, but The Real World originally, I remember it because I remember every year I'd watch the show and be like, should I audition for this? And every year I'd get closer to that mark where my cutoff would be. And I'd be like, I got to lie about my age to even be on this damn show. Yeah, there used to be an age range for The Real World. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Corey is 32.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Corey's only 32. He seems like he's like, I remember watching him on The Real World so long ago. I feel like he's older, but yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been doing
Well,
this
like
for
you
a
said,
long time.
you go on those shows at such young ages.
right.
where,
Yeah.
oof, I would just like advise any of my friends and family to
Like
not.
there was people on the show on The
Don't
Real
do it
World where like
because-
when they weren't 21, they couldn't even go out to the bar with people. It's like, why are you
Right.
cast them at least right when they get to 21 so you can bring them out to bars and have them be drinking legally so you can get good footage. Like they can only like, drink in the house. Like, what are we doing here?
My
Yeah.
friends and I talk about this a lot with like Jersey Shore, that 21 to 24 is way too young to be filmed on
For
camera
sure.
when you're drunk going out to bars. Like it seems old enough because you're not in high school anymore. You've probably graduated college, but that is a dangerous time for your life to be filmed 24/7.
Oh,
Like
Or is it the
God.
very best time for reality TV?
For
I would say
TV,
yes.
yes.
Well,
but-
reality TV in the
okay.
early 2000s, yes.
Yes.
Not
For a
anymore.
person,
I mean,
yeah.
they won't show anything anymore. I mean, like honestly, like, do you think like this is a hypothetical? Do you think that Tyler and Alyssa had sexual intercourse in the house this season?
Yes.
Okay, why
Hey.
don't they show me the infrared night vision camera and show like that action? Remember like Real World Las Vegas, the with Trishelle and that dude Steven, they were doing it every night, and every night they would get footage of that stuff and they would show it to us. They'd show us the next morning when they were hungover and they were still sleeping next to each other in bed. They don't show that stuff anymore. It kind of sucks. I love that kind
Sir,
of
this
stuff.
is a competition show. Okay. This is a
Right. It's
competition
also
show.
CBS
Right.
and network TV, and
Yeah.
it's not, cable anymore. So like they're too afraid to show it to the general public, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Right. This is you're right. This is on like network.
Yeah.
But I feel like the MTV 39, if there are some hookups and stuff, they won't show them going out. I mean, they just suck.
Hopefully they'll show a
an
little
old school.
more.
Why
I know,
can't they
I
just go
wonder-
back in time and give me an old school Real World again? Like, come on, do it.
Yeah. I also wonder what's changed in the production side of things, like in terms of how much alcohol they can provide people, or like how much food and stuff the production has to provide versus what they pay on their own. Because if you remember in some of these old Real Worlds, they would go out and like CT did that one time in the challenge,
Right.
fight about the bill. People wouldn't have enough money.
Yeah.
working. So but you don't see any of that at all anymore.
All you
It's
see
almost
them,
like it's
you're
the
100%
TV show
right.
paying for
Jenna,
everything.
they've got catered people doing it now, because I know damn well you see them all sitting down there, all eating the same food at a table,
Yeah.
all eating salads. Like, that's provided somewhere off, like it's on their property, it's on their footprint somewhere that's out of camera view. They all go down the buffet line, they sit down at the table and eat. They're not cooking for themselves anymore. It's not. But that's also more
even
the
when
real
they
world,
go
yeah.
out, it partially looks like there's like a closed off section. Like
It
I don't
is. There's no
they
one
used to
else
like
at the
meet
bar.
other people. Right now it used to be like, hey, are you on the real world? Like now they're like in their own section. I feel like it's like you have 2 drink tickets each. Yeah, it's all
They rent out the bars now, Pam. You're totally right. Like, I don't even think there's a sectioned off area. I think they literally rent the bar for the night. I mean, I can say I didn't have to sign an NDA for this one. I just did an album release party for Becky G. She was She was the pink Power Ranger in the new Power Rangers movie.
Is she Call Me Maybe?
No, that's
is that
yeah, that's
Becky?
Ray, whatever her
is
name
that a
is.
Becky?
Harley Ray.
Harley Ray.
Gibson, whatever the hell name is.
Jepsen.
Yeah. Jepsen. I said Gibson.
Jepsen.
Harley Ray
Yeah.
Jepsen.
Yeah.
Whatever. She was a one-hit wonder, whatever. So Becky
Yeah.
G. So like, but like they rented out this place for her. No one else was allowed to be at this entire venue. Besides, it was a bar. It was a bar thing. No one else was there
Was it
besides
like
her and her
birthday?
people.
Oh, it was an album release party.
No, it was
All
her
right,
album release. It got released literally today. I think I'm allowed to talk about it now because it got released today. Whatever.
Oh gosh, everybody. So download your Becky G.
Becky G album. Woo woo. Yeah. Go ahead. Enjoy that.
I had a camera named Becky and she decided she wanted to be Becky with an I. Becki.
Okay,
Oh,
girl.
okay,
She had to
okay.
add a little flair
Sassy.
to
Yeah, a
it.
little sassy.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Okay.
I had a girl in high school that wanted to have 2 N's for Jen. So her name was Jennifer, but instead of just being Jen, she would write Jenn on everything. And I'm like, well, what's the difference here? Is there a different pronunciation with Jenn versus Jen? So
Just being cool.
Being
Just
cool.
making a mark on the name
Cool
Jen.
girl.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
we got sidetracked. So what
Okay.
else did you challenge?
So
well, so the name of the challenge was Slippery Business. I don't know. They were all like ganging up on people.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a free for all. It wasn't. You know, they were all like, Bananas had to go down. Hey, Bananas, it's your turn. Why don't you go against Tyler? He
Yeah.
might have said your name 3 episodes ago. You
Coach
go. I
Fessy.
wasn't. The idea of this challenge, I was like, this is gonna be awesome. But like when it all started getting played out, I was like, this is kind of lame.
let's get right.
I hear you. Yes, totally agree in that way, but I'll also oppose you because that
Sure.
girls round was sick. The women's round was
Oh,
awesome.
Definitely the
Women.
final 2 when it was Chanel versus Michaela. That was definitely
Yes, Chanel and Michaela, yes, but also I'll say leading up to it, them all gunning for Tori was smart. They got to do what they got to do. It sucks not being able to see Tori really get into action there because she is so fiery and she is so athletic. I feel like she would have done damage, so she would have been awesome to see. But what can you do? It was literally 5-on-1. So I get it, like kind of annoying, but that is the strategy. If you're in the game, you got to win. So like I get why they're doing these things. But I'll even say like Cassidy's ability to hang in there way longer
yeah.
than I thought she could. Michelle hung in there too a bit. And when it came down towards the end, Desi is working on Cassidy. I found it really surprising that Michaela goes over and she's even pushing Desi out, who's her alliance.
Yep, I saw that. Yep.
Okay.
Getting involved.
Someone had to win. I mean, someone had to win.
Yeah. So
You
she's
can't
taking
work with
advantage.
these girls forever. Michaela knows it. They all know it.
Yes.
But yeah.
Well, they're
Yeah.
being naive, I think. It's like, well, then it's going to be one of us. It's like, yeah, and if it was you, it would be one of me or someone else. Like, yeah, if we want to make a big move,
Yeah.
which she did. I was impressed with Cassidy. I don't know if she got a super good edit, but they made it look like she was like, I know everyone thinks I'm smaller, but like I do Krav Maga or something or jujitsu or whatever.
Yeah.
She's got some athletic ability, that Cassie.
Speaking of one of the girls always trying to hype themselves up, like, yeah, you said Cassie was saying the kind of stuff she does. Every episode, I feel like this is coming from Chanel. Every episode, she's letting the world know how good she is at something. And I'm like, I haven't seen you do anything all season, though. But she's like, today she was like, I don't know what I don't know what she said, but there was a confessional of her saying all this crap that she's good at. Last episode, same. And then she talked about basketball the time before, how good she is at basketball. I'm like, all right, show me on the floor what you can do. I don't care.
close this time, but again, no cigar, and the cigar gets the blue ribbon.
Yeah.
But how close was it?
yeah,
Everyone ganged
this
up on
was-
Tori. That was one.
This was a really good showing for Chanel. This was a
Yeah,
highlight, finally something in her toolbox
She had
that
a
she
fight.
can actually like show for, not just speak to, because it has been a lot of talk on her end. But the fact that Michaela just rolled her over last minute, like it was
Yep.
actually Chanel that pushed Michaela closest to the edge, and then Michaela was able to like out strength her and just pull her over, exactly what you would want to happen, but you have to be strong enough to actually do it and execute
Yeah.
it. And the fact that Michaela did it, I was like, hell yeah. Because you're right, Chanel has been really talkative. She has been a lot of talk and
Yeah.
kind of no proof. So I was like, hell yeah, Michaela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I love Michaela, I love Michaela, and I like that she psychs herself up to, she's like, I have to win. Like, it's time to win. I don't want to go in, and she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
so
happy with it.
here's some more Michaela and Chanel stuff. So after this challenge, Michaela goes and talks to all of them in the room, and Michaela's like, I'm thinking Tori again. And then you see a confessional of Chanel, like, I just think Michaela needs to do less right now. And I'm like, no shit, Chanel, you feel that way because you don't want to go against Tori.
Right,
Like,
of
what are you
course.
saying? Like, who's buying what you're saying, Chanel? I'm liking her less and less with every time
No.
she has all of her conversations with the camera. I'm like, Chanel, you're saying, oh God, the stuff you're saying is like so obvious. Like, obviously you're saying this because you don't want to go against Tori. Like, why don't you just be real about it? I don't want to go against Tori. I'm afraid. You're telling Michaela to do less. Well, what's the reasoning behind that, though?
Right.
Tell us the real stuff.
I agree 1,000,000%. I got Tori's logic with you, Dan. So I understood Michaela and was hoping almost, I mean, I wasn't hoping that it was a girls' day, but if it was, again, back to our beginning talk, I was hoping that Tori could be the main vote and they would vote in a very strong girl, and it would be a great competition before we knew what the actual final elimination was.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Then I liked Corey saying, basically, I don't want that smoke. Like, she wouldn't say me, and I'm gonna defend my numbers.
Well, I think Corey was right when he said that for sure, Pam. He's like, oh, I wrote down how I like it. Save Tori. Ready? This is Corey's brain, right? Save Tori. She wins. She saves me. Vote Tori. She wins. She votes me. That's what I wrote down for that. And if Corey could have broken it down for Michaela that way, what's Michaela's argument there? Like, that's what I was thinking was, Corey, you just need to be a little more vocal.
That's why. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's where she was frustrated when they were talking, and he's like, "What?" And she was like, "I'm just frustrated, not at his choices, but that he wasn't." She was trying to figure out his logic, and he wasn't able to verbalize it.
Well, I wrote it down for Corey. That's what Corey should have said, right? What I just said.
And that is exactly what Corey should have said. But I couldn't verbalize it either. Sometimes when you're in that conversation, you're like, because it's, like, it makes sense, and it's so frustrating to be both sides of that, the person not able to verbalize it, and the person that's like, what are you trying to say? You're not saying anything.
It is tough though, because making that decision is so two-sided. Like, you're saying Chanel doesn't want to go against Tori, which is true and valid, but she also had the same kind of point as Corey, I believe, that is it too soon to strike? But that's Michaela's argument too, is like, if we don't do it now, we're just gonna have to probably lose in the final. Like, when is the next
it was her chance to strike. It's like, I don't care. I mean, selfishly, it's like, yes, I'm not trying to throw you guys in, but go in now, go in later, rather, instead of the four of them in the final. It's like, let's get Tori out now if we can. If someone can do it, let's do it. I thought this was the time to strike, and I understood Michaela's frustration at it being not able to do that because of Corey.
Yeah. Because I was hearing out some of the other points of some of the other girls, but then I was thinking, no, but it's Michaela is putting her own self at risk by saying Tori as well. And she's willing to do that. She's willing to be the power couple and say, like, yes, she's protected this week.
Right.
She's not next week. We don't know what the week after is either. Like,
you know what? The problem
next week, and then it's a Tori wins the daily challenge, and she can put Michaela's ass right in. Like,
what did Corey do? What did Corey do immediately after nominations? He went to Tori and said, hey, just so you know, I saved you, but Michaela wants your ass in there. Now Michaela's not saved either way next week. So if Tori wins, I know she's putting Michaela in no matter what, because all she has to say is, I know you talked to Corey and you wanted the beef with me, so now I'm going to give the beef back to you, and she doesn't have to burn a bridge. She's like, you broke the trust. We came to you. It was you, Desi, and Chanel. You said we're all going to be safe together. You clearly don't want me in. So I think Michaela's screwed either way next week if she does not win that daily challenge.
Well, that's what I mean. I guess my point is, the other girls are saying like, Michaela, it's easy for her to make this decision because she's protected this week and we have to go in against Tori, which like, I get their feeling. I probably would feel the same if I was in their shoes. Like that's justified. But also like Michaela doesn't have this immortal shield of protection. Like she's pretty much just as much at risk as you guys. Like she's at risk next week. She, it's her voice and her name now on the line being the person that's saying Tori. And it's very clear that now she's gunning for Tori. That can backfire on her just as much too. And the thing is, she's earned that right because she's the only one out of her group winning. She's the only one getting the daily.
Yes.
She can do what she wants with that power. That's her right. She's earned it.
And if I'm Desi, if I'm Desi or Chanel or Michelle or even Cassidy, I'm honestly, if I win next week's daily, I'm honestly thinking of putting Michaela's name in there because Michaela did not show any. She was, they say, who's the snake in the game? Who's playing for themselves? Y'all are. So if I'm one of those girls and I win, I'm throwing Michaela in there because she's not going to stand. She tried to get Tori in there. So I would have to go against Tori if I'm one of those girls. So I'm going to put Michaela's name down there if I have to. Why the hell not? And then try to get Tori to be the vote. Have be Tori, Michaela, huge, number one versus number two.
But
then they're just doing the same thing Michaela was trying to do too.
You have to eventually.
Why not?
Win. Eventually, there's only going to be one winner. Like you have to. This is the time when it's right before the finale where you pull those moves, and if the girls, whoever wins next week, should put Tori or Michaela in. Like
it's the. I'm telling you, I think next week is the final daily. I think it's the final.
Yeah, the final's right around the corner, and they're the ones to beat at this point. So yes, when. I don't know, Tori saying I didn't put her in last week and the week before, it was still a little earlier. Like every week is like a lifetime and challenged them. So I understand the girls being like resentful because Michaela's safe this week and that seems like permanent. But you're right, logically, and at the end, it's like, no, I'm the one putting her name in. If she comes back, I'm the one putting myself on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And that's the perk of being in the power role. You won, so you get to make those decisions. I think she would have done it if not for Corey.
Yeah.
I think Corey is Tori's ally. He can't say Tori's name. So that unfortunately just like completely cancels out Michaela's desire.
The only guy in there that would have done it though would be Chris. If Chris or Tyler won, then they would have been like, yeah, Michaela, let's do it. But all those other people would not have agreed to it, I don't think, unfortunately.
So, well, that's the power of a social game, which Michelle and Tori, I didn't realize they were all allied with the guys.
Well, Michelle was working from both sides, which I've been saying for a while now. Anyway, so they end up going Tyler and Cassidy because that's just the way the chips fell for this one. What did you ladies think of the Cassidy versus Michaela argument? That's the next thing I kind of want to talk about. I thought they both made decent points.
Totally.
But go ahead, Pam. You seem like you want to say something.
I thought, first of all, Cassidy and her making out with Michelle, go Cassidy, bringing a little sauce to the show.
Something happened. We didn't get to, it was like a far away, like pen. They at least highlighted it for us on CBS. Watch out.
But go Cassidy, way to mix it up. And Cassidy, I totally empathize again with both Michaela and Cassidy in this argument because Cassidy was upset and she's like, way to kick me when I'm down. But Michaela, like Spock, was just saying logically, like, there's people that are protected and you're not one of them. There's nothing I could do. I think it came out a little harsh, and her delivery might be what makes people be like, whoa, tone that down. It sounds mean. But I think she was just saying, he was not going to vote for Tori
she made that point, and I'm glad they showed that. I'm glad they showed Michaela saying, look, I wanted Tori. I'm sure you wanted Tori too. I tried to get us Tori. I couldn't get Corey to agree. We would have sat there all day. I'm sorry. And I think Cassidy knows that. I think she knows because she knows that last week, I think too, that Michaela went after Tori when she won twice. She won twice in a row now. So Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Cassidy, but I thought Michaela at least did a good job saying, look, I don't want this to be the way it is either. I don't want you to be
Right.
down there. I honestly think you're a layup, Cassidy. If I'm Michaela, I'm saying, I don't want to say it. I don't mean, I want you in this game. I couldn't get the votes to go that way.
And she
And the
was
problem is,
saying,
though, is Cassidy's point back to her could be like, can you put Chanel, Michelle, someone else in then instead? If you think, because
like, not
honestly,
really.
Michelle or Chanel could have gone in, but she just is better aligned with them. That's all it was.
Well, that's
Let's
where
be
also it
real.
is, and she's protected by those guys. And unfortunately, it is just, it's like, did it last week, did it the week before, did it, like, you're going to be mad times 4. Like, I don't want to
You
make
got
a new
it. It happens all the time in the house. It happened
Yeah.
with Horacio last year. It happening with Chris this year. It's happening with Cassidy this year. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Remember that year that Jay did it like a bunch of times in a row? I think he beat CT that season. He had to keep going. And then finally he lost because it's so sketchy, as we say.
It really does, to become that punching bag. You're just like, damn, I'm the person.
Yeah.
It's me this year, and it's never gonna not be me. So
but when you become that punching bag, you're almost 100%, cashing your ticket to another season of the challenge.
And I like Chris. I don't understand. I feel like I missed where Chris did everyone dirty. Like,
you
the
weren't
episode,
with us that episode, but you were.
Yeah.
You watched it, I'm sure. But you missed.
I did watch it, but I still didn't quite like. Maybe I needed to hear your guys' point of view. I didn't see anything like awful.
He was kind of throwing his voice around to different people, too many people about who he wanted. He wanted everyone to go in, basically. But yeah.
Oh, and speaking of everyone, when is today? Tyler's like my main man, Fessy. Like, where my
well, they were all. It's the problem is I think the show is not showing us enough. I think that there was more footage of them being boys this season that wasn't shown. They did briefly tell us they were on the same season of Big Brother. Jenna, you brought that up. We're like, oh yeah, they were on the same season. We didn't even know that,
They didn't work together. Like, they weren't friends. It wasn't like they were.
Well, but they have that in common,
Right.
I guess. It's still there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor, and they expect us as viewers just to be, whatever they say. It's improv, right? Yes, and we improv it like yes. They're best friends. Yes, they're best friends. We've never seen it before. We're just gonna buy into them being best friends now. They love to do that to us on the show. You have to believe it. Believe whatever you say.
I had the same thought as you, though, Pam.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm like, your main man, Fessy, and Banana's shirt. We didn't talk about Banana's shirt with like multiple. It was like silk and had multiple cat prints.
Oh, I love that shirt.
Leopards.
I love that shirt.
Like, ironically or unironically?
No, I liked it.
I was like, Luke, come here. Like, I called Luke in to look at it because I have pajamas that look like that, and they're sort of, I'm like, like they're like kind of goofy. But yeah, it's funny that Bananas also had a silk cat pattern motif going on.
Funny, I liked it, adding a little fashion and flair.
Something like, did he borrow it from some? I don't know where that came from, but it was funny. Those were my Tyler's body, Josh's shirt, and those were my and Fessy being Tyler's like right hand man. I was like, these are the things that stood out to me today.
Yeah. Well, another big thing, I kind of thought it was big. Maybe it's really not that big in hindsight. Is Michelle now like having to draw her line in the sand? So she's always been with the Survivor girls, but she's also been with the vets. So she's in the room with the Survivor girls, and they're all like, basically, hands in, we're voting for Tori, all of us. But then Michelle's thinking like, but should I be voting for Tori? Because I've been with the vets the whole time. So I should go on their vote. So she's standing in an anonymous room wondering what to do. And I kind of feel for her because I'm like, shit, I don't know what I would do either, because it's going to be so obvious when you don't vote with Team Survivor girls. They're going to know immediately who the one person is who didn't vote for them. But I don't know. Like, is your fear of Tori and the vets seeing you as, Ben Arnold?
I think she did the right thing.
Than
because the Survivor girls that it acted like, she's like, it was nice that they included me, like that they brought me into the room and told me how to vote. I mean, she wasn't being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic, but Chanel then made it like, who was the fourth vote? It's like, the fourth person that's not a part of your fucking alliance. What do you mean? Ooh, like, it wasn't that devious. It was like,
so if I'm Michelle, obviously all the Survivor girls know that what she did. So if Tori or Michelle do not win next week, those other girls, Cassie needs to be like, look, I'm more part of your team than you are, goddammit. So I think that Michelle might get some votes next week, and next week might be either Michelle or Tori. If they don't win, one of them's going down there, and then vice versa. If Michaela doesn't win, I think girls can team up on what she keeps, because she keeps trying to go after Tori. There's a lot going on here, and
There is a lot going on.
it's going to be fun next week to see what happens there. And you know what? It was a guy elimination tonight. And if they're really trying to get to be 5-on-5, I think everyone's going to be trying to push for the final one, if it is final, to be a girl one. So I think that has the most meat on the bone as far as to have a juicy
Depends on
timeline
who
next week.
wins,
Storyline.
because if or loses, so if there's someone that wins, like in that alliance, so I feel like that alliance currently. Okay, here's what I'm trying to say. I'm having a Corey moment and explaining my thoughts. If Tori or Michelle wins, they and the guys will make it a girls' day.
In theory.
If another one of those girls wins,
but also
if they will try, like the fact that each gender can work together on votes, like that.
Maybe, but if Desi wins, right, she could say, I want it to be Michaela versus Tori, get one of the big hitters out before the final, and they still make it a girls' day. Like, you can go that way too with it, because the guys
don't care, so they protect Tori.
The guys don't want to go into this final elimination. You got Fessy, Josh, Bananas, and Tyler and Chris.
Tyler's gone. They'll all vote Chris in. They'll all vote a guy.
Then which one has to go against Chris, though? That's the question. Then they're all going to be pissed off at each other.
I don't know. They're going to, whatever one that the girls decide, probably Fessy. I mean, they would, Fessy or Corey, I think, is the bottom of that alliance.
Like, I think it's rough either way. No one wants to do this final elimination.
No one wants to, but someone's going to have to. I don't know. I'm excited. And speaking of excited, I did love this episode. I thought it was really good. I thought it was.
I mean, I think every episode this season's been solid for a CBS version of the challenge, especially since the crap that MTV's been putting out the last couple seasons. I think I told Jenna this 2 weeks ago. I'm a little nervous about this new season of the challenge. I don't think I'm going to care. I don't think I'm going to like it already.
So
it's called like a battle for a new champion, and I sent it to you in the DMs there. And if there's no champion people on it, and the only way you're going to see like CT and Cara Marie and all these classic vets come on is as mercenaries.
Okay,
that's what it is. And like, do they get to stay on the show after? If they beat someone as a mercenary, do they get to stay after? Okay, now I'm on board. But if no matter what they came in, remember like Derek came in, or like who was that furniture guy?
Furniture guy,
good looking furniture guy. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
The guy that we said was for Joss. It's Joss. Yeah, he's Joss. Like furniture.
Gloves. Yeah, good looking, attractive furniture.
But I'm just trying to think as mercenary. Like, they came in and they would like be the mercenary, but then they just automatically leave no matter what. Like, that's lame. I don't want to see that. But no, Joss had to go up against a mercenary one time.
Derek
thinking of
was
Joss
an
being
awesome.
Right.
It was a great elimination. Wait, do you guys know I met Joss, right?
How did you meet Joss?
At AfterBuzz.
I know this because it was an AfterBuzz related thing. It was Kevin Undergarden's show, how he does like his Tomorrow show, and they dress up like in space Star Trek outfit sort of thing. Joss was the special guest there. So I met him.
Did you hear that? Did you see that someone hit us up in the comments section and said, "Hey, can you guys tell us why AfterBuzz never came back?" And I was like, I guess we technically could.
We could. I can't. I'm still like, is it coming back? Like, sometimes
that was my mom. My mom just let the dog out.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Dan.
What's that?
Mom's here from New England?
Well, they live down in Charleston, South Carolina now. But yeah, my mom and dad are both in town. We're getting projects done on the house.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Can we tell? Do you know the answer? I think it just didn't.
I'm not sure. Like, I was wondering, like, do we even know the reason why they didn't come back? Because technically COVID, I mean, you could put people in a room now, right? If you wanted to. I don't really know this. I think that maybe they just didn't want to.
Didn't survive COVID. I mean,
they didn't want to put more money back into it again and get it restarted up, because it's going to.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, the official answer from us is we don't know either.
We don't
Exactly.
we really don't know they didn't like send an email
They
out
didn't
saying,
formally.
so we
Yeah.
decided to never bring AfterBuzz back because they just said, oh, we're on hiatus, which, okay. And then they just never brought it back. That's really,
We're still
and then I
waiting,
was like,
guys.
and then I was like to you girls, I was like, hey, let's start something. We can do this on our own now. There is a fan base that will eventually maybe find us on YouTube if we start doing this.
Yeah.
Jenna is smirking because she's like, do we even have a fan base? Like, what is the
Call
smirk
to
for, Jenna?
action now.
It's
So
so
if you're
guys.
listening and you're a fan, please share this because it does help. So share it
Yeah,
on your
tell the
stuff.
old fans of
Tell
AfterBuzz
everybody
that we are
we're
AfterBuzz
still here.
by ourselves now. We are no longer AfterBuzz. We are
And
our own thing.
we're buzz after.
We're the Buzz After.
We're buzz
Remember?
after.
Buzz you later.
Oh,
We had to say it.
Buzz you
Buzz
later.
you later. Okay. That
yeah.
was a fun one.
So
But
we
yeah,
should probably let me lay out the secret vote and let's talk about this elimination before we
wait,
go.
real quick, Jenna,
Yeah.
was Joss super hot in person? Like, did he have a magnetism that didn't come across? Like, obviously he was hot, but
Or did he blend in with the
Very
furniture
hot.
because he's furniture?
Very hot. I cannot say any differently, right? But it's all subjective. I mean, he was
obvious.
like too perfect. You know what I mean? Wait, hang on. I gotta, sorry, just take this really quick.
She put her on
Okay.
mute. Mute her. Oh, she's
No,
on mute for sure. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Here we go. She could probably still hear us. She has to mute us as well. Look at her. She's trying to mute us.
she just did, I think. I saw the finger.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's do secret. Secret vote is this. Tori got 3. She should have had 4. Chanel got 1 and Chris got 6. And I was like, ooh, there's still almost a 50-50 chance that this could be a girls' elimination. It's 6 to 4, technically, I guess. You know what I mean? I thought this elimination called Barrel Tag was actually really unique. It was really, it was, I don't know if it was like the most fun thing to watch. I kind of wanted them to use the, that box, the obstacles. I was hoping they'd use them more.
Like get to it and fight or something?
No, like get to the box and then start trying to like get around so they can never get to you. If you butt up your barrels against the box, and then if you have someone on the side saying, he's coming to your right, you just keep building to your left or vice versa. You know what I mean? I wanted them to almost use that. I like that Chris tried to throw the barrels at him. I understand why he did what he did, but I was like, can he just throw them at the body of him instead and knock him off his barrel? Like, what were the rules there? Like, I was ready for all of that stuff to happen even more. So I don't know. What did you think? I thought it was good though. I was fine.
We've never seen it before, right? Like ever.
Right.
I thought
nothing even remotely.
Nothing even close.
We've seen them in daily challenges have to build with barrels across to get across certain things. Like you have to build the barrels and bring them and like wood planks on barrels. We've seen that, but never in an elimination fashion. Jenna, have you seen this in elimination fashion?
I hear it. I thought them playing tag was funny. They love the one person's the catcher, one person's the runner this year. That seems to be I didn't really like recognize this one as something we've seen often. I thought it was cool. I liked it. I like that it's an equalized one. Like we said, because it's getting down to the point now where how are we gonna have these eliminations if somebody is just like bigger, taller, stronger than somebody else? So I like that they're equalized. Like that's what was always fun about these. Yeah, it was good. I mean, the only thing is it just happened so quickly, right? Like they both finished so quickly. Chris looked absolutely exhausted by the end of it. The way that the editing went was almost too good of a red herring, where it reminded me of the Wes and Dusty one where they're running on the barrel, where everyone is all the edits that we're getting is everyone's first that Tyler one, right? Because Tyler's like, I did it so quickly, and then Chris wins. It's almost like that sort of edit where you're like, well, who won? Like, why do you think that maybe Chris didn't, you know?
Yeah, I mean, they said Chris won by 32 seconds, so it's hard to say. Is that, can you tell 32 seconds when you watch something like this back to back? I don't know.
I don't think so. I mean, they can't, we're not watching it in real time, no matter which way you cut it. But, and in living it, it must feel no idea. So that 32 seconds is quick. I feel like I like that Chris tried to have a strategy. It didn't really work that well.
Well, it did because he still won. I mean, his strategy didn't work, but he still won, right?
He won because he was like, like he just hustled because he was like, that was quick. Like I have to be quicker.
Right.
Yeah. I think he just was like, shit, the time to beat is quick.
I just appreciate the producers or the game makers giving us new stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, if next week's a hall brawl, more power to you. We haven't seen one yet, so that's fine. And we already saw a pole wrestle. Didn't we see a pole wrestle this year?
Yeah.
They all blend together. I don't know.
I think it actually is the CBS touch, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. But then some of the CBS touch though makes it a little too like that ball one to watch was just so frustrating with Monty versus Tyler.
That
like
was
I
too
don't
big
need to
of a
see
rivalry.
that.
Like, yeah, that was not fun to watch. But I like, that they've introduced barrels this season. Someone found some barrels and they were like, you must use these.
Let's use barrels.
Barrels are contractually obligated to appear in 3. Yeah. So remember when they found cellophane? Like MTV had the leftover cellophane during Champs versus. So everything was like.
Or on like the tires or something. We were like, there was this one season where everything was just tires. And we were like, oh my God, we get it. Like,
yeah.
Right. Top department scored the best.
Right.
With like AutoZone or whatever that you have 1 million tires to play with.
Donated those tires, so can you please put them in a few episodes, right? Like cellophane is a sponsor. Can you please wrap people, make people cut through it, like karate chop cellophane?
I mean, they're always MTV and CBS. They're on a budget for these reality shows. They're trying to make them cheap. They got to reuse this crap. I mean, that's what it's good. Every season, like, what is the object of choice this season? Like, what's next season gonna be? Who knows? But they're gonna use the shit out of it. That's for sure.
Yep.
Are you guys happy with the result of the elimination?
I was this was another one where I was like, I don't really have a big dog in this pony. I was rooting for Chris at this point just because.
Big dog in this pony. What was that? Oh yeah,
dog
baby.
in this show or pony in this race. One of those.
It would be dog in this fight and pony in this race, I believe. Yeah.
I didn't have a dog or a pony, so I wasn't super concerned.
Oh my God. People in the comment section are going to write all about that one, Pam.
Hashtag dog and pony. Dog and pony show.
A dog and pony show, but what's that? That doesn't
They happen, I think, in the Caribbean, in Croatia a lot, which is in the Caribbean, according to Pam.
Right. Oh, that's in the Croatian Caribbean Sea. But I don't know. I get things confused, but it's funny because I definitely was happy, but I wouldn't have been like, no, I felt bad for Tyler. He sort of earned it. Whatever. He is so chill. He was like, yeah, love you guys. Bye. Like he didn't
fire
yeah.
of lack of care about things. Like he's like, all right, see you next time. Yeah.
I'm gonna go try to get on another reality show now. Like I'll figure something out. Like
I feel like he's a wealthy person that also won $50,000 and is like single and like in his 20s and is like that 50,000 is cool for me. Like make some Instagram, like isn't like this as life-changing. I need it. Like he likes to compete and he's chill and it's a great position to be in. He doesn't seem like he like needs the money. He does not like hungry in that way that like other people are that are like, this is the down payment on a house. This is like whatever. And he's just like, yeah, like I like competing and I wish I won, but yo, Alyssa, I'll call you. He just seems like was happy to be here.
I was really happy Chris won, even though Tyler is an underdog as well. It feels like Chris has to do this every week and he has to keep proving himself to everybody. So keep winning. Just please keep
winning. I really want Chris to win the daily next week and try to force a male elimination. I just like we give Michelle or Chanel, both of them, crap, right? What's Josh done this season? Has he ever sat in that room? I'm just trying to think. Has he won one where he did in his team when it was teams? No. He won one because he was able to like turn the vote early in the season to get like a different person not to be voted in. But like as far as when it went singles.
Highlight, and it was actually really good. He was able to.
That was his one highlight of the season. So maybe
it was.
There you go. He had one highlight.
That was his highlight. But no, he hasn't done anything competition wise to stand out this season, except I hope that Chris wins and that all the girls sans Tori and Michelle, but I bet Michelle, she's wishy-washy, could be convinced to vote with the Survivor people, do make it a guy's day and it's a Josh Fessy. I mean, that would just be great.
Yeah. Josh, I feel, is so protected just by like association this season because he's finally one of the people that can be numbers to Wes and Bananas that are really significant. So they took advantage of that. Like,
oh, totally. And he did it. He did their dirty work. That fight was for
dirty work.
Approval.
if there was 3 other vets on the show, they wouldn't even be talking to Josh. But
They had to find numbers somewhere, and they realized like
Yeah.
we can take people that have been on the show before. And Josh and Fessy are bigger dudes, and you know, literally
No,
they
when it
carry a
comes
lot
down
of
to
weight in
it-
this challenge. Like they can make some moves here and win some things, and or at least
Yeah.
Fessy can. Yeah.
When it comes down to it, if Fessy was the house vote, he would want Josh, probably of all people, if he had to go against someone. And again, loyalty will flip real quick, the elimination before a challenge. I think
I
that
wish we could see that sort of stuff more often. Like, I just wish, as much as we've loved the game and all the twists and anonymous voting, like everything has been great in terms of what you can do in this game. But I wish that there was some sort of wrench that was thrown in there that made these alliances broken up a little bit, you know? Because like we said, it just is Chris and Cassidy every week now, and it's too easy
Yeah.
for it to happen. Like, what can be done where Fessy has to make a decision of like, oh shit, if am I gonna go in, then I have to like pick out of my friends now.
Chris
That
has to win.
We're hoping
Yeah.
for that. I mean,
Chris and
they're trying
Cassidy
to
have to
eliminate
win,
numbers for
right?
something like that to happen,
Yeah.
but
Everybody,
an
fingers crossed.
alliance got built, and now we need one of the minority players that doesn't have a big alliance to get that win next week, so we can see that alliance have to make decisions, and that will cause the real drama and make it very interesting to watch next week. So
Mhm.
yeah, they made it seem like in the next on the challenge, they made it seem like some crazy stuff happens with all that. I
We'll
don't know,
see.
but they made it seem like some big stuff happens next week.
they
We'll see.
always do.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
All right.
We're gonna go. We'll see y'all next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, one of those days for episode 12 of the Challenge USA Season 2. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Thank y'all.